Good morning, Brandon Hardison. Glad to be with you. Today, we're going to help those people that are thinking about being a front of the room speaker, or you're a teacher, some type of educator, not in front of the room that much, but it's for all because nowadays we have to be in this confine of this box instead of having the live people up on you. So, when you're getting your content together, when you're putting your speech together, how about a few tips on how do we conclude? How do we end this speech? So, the first thing I would recommend to you is that plan your closing remarks, plan your words, word for word, to ensure that your conclusion is a powerful one. We got to plan it word for word. You got to write it out. Ask yourself, what is the purpose of this talk? Your answer should involve the actions that you want your listeners to take care of after they hear the speech, call to action, as we call it. So, when you're clear about the end result, your desire, it becomes a lot easier to design a conclusion. Then ask your listeners to take action. So, the best strategy for ending with a bang is to plan your close before you plan the rest of your speech. Ooh, now you may say that's kind of different. Well, we can always go back to the beginning, but we want to focus on what we want to leave them with. So I suggest let's get this conclusion out the way first. Then you can go back and design your opening so it sets up the stage for your conclusion. Now, number two, end a speech with a call to action. What are they going to take away from that speech and go back to their world and hopefully start to implement? It's especially important that you tell the audience what you want to do as a result of them hearing your speech. We call it a call to action because the best way to wrap up your talk and gives that person some temporary power because they have to carry it out. How is a speech conclusion call to action example? Ladies and gentlemen, we have great challenges, great opportunities, and with your help, we will meet them and make next year the best year in our business history. Mm, Maybe a little over the top for you, but I was just trying to give you some type of ending. Just remember, whatever you say, imagine an exclamation point at the end. As you approach the conclusion, pick up your energy, pick up your tempo, speak with some strength and some emphasis, and drive home that point. Regardless of whatever your audience participates agree with you on, this should be your main focus. I want this call to action to be done so to make their lives a lot easier. And then the last thing, how can we make it clear to an audience or group that it's done? When you say your final words, it should be clear to everyone that you've ended. There should be no confusion in the minds of the audience. The audience members should know that there's no more left. Now, many speakers just allow their talks just to wind down, saying something like, well, that's just about covers it. Thank you. Now, that's not a good idea to close. It's not powerful, no energy behind it, not anything supporting the call to action. We need to come up with something a little bit more powerful. Keep in mind, it's not the authoritative ending thus distracting, and the credibility and the influence. So keep that in mind. Your credibility, your confidence, your influence, trying to get them to do the call to action that you were trying to leave or press upon them. That's what they brought you there for to do. So when you've concluded, discipline yourself to stand perfectly still Select a friendly face inside that audience and look straight at that person. If it's appropriate, smile warmly, and the person that you're trying to signal while you're in front of them, they know that it's the ending, and I guarantee you, they will be the first ones to applaud, letting the other folks in the room know that it's time for them to applaud. Now, how about if you get so many applauses and we still want to do Q&A, some questions and answers? Always shut them down with an example, within a story about the call to action that they're going to be doing once they leave from there. Giving them an example of that will shut them down, and you don't have to worry about people just continuing and trying to be nice by just saying, let me just stand here and wait until the last applause is done. That's not professional. We want to really make sure that we give this speech the best that it can be. So, suggestion, always write the conclusion first. Then we can always go back to the opening. Once again, Brandon Hardison from Champion Strategies. As always, in parting, make it a champion.